Aiden, how are you?
Great, man. How are you?
It's like deja vu. I'm doing great.
We're on a different side of the ring. That's the only thing.
Different side of the ring. We were sitting on that side of the ring. You were getting set for your biggest match of your career against Pete Dunne.
Wow. Yeah, it was. It was.
Memories, eh?
Memories. Wow, it has been a long time.
I was a young journalism student. A lot has changed.
Yes, man.
A lot has changed with you.
A few more gray hairs.
A few more gray hairs, but hey, life has come at us fast. And you're a new dad.
I am.
You're about to compete in, could you say this is now the biggest match of your career?
For personal reasons, 100%. 100%, because it's a new me going out there for sure. I'm a father now, I went through that injury, so things there's pressure.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
The layoff. What happened?
Man, I was on fire. I was wrestling everywhere. Got signed by Impact last year. Been traveling with them, doing a lot of indies, things like that. So things are rocking and rolling. I had the most belts I've ever had. And I had the opportunity to wrestle Steve Macklin. And we were having a really good match until I jumped off the top rope and did something, I've done a million times, landed on my feet. But unfortunately, my ankle and my fibula snapped right when I landed. So, yeah, it was crutches, and now I have a steel foot. It's, it was devastating.
What's recovery been like?
It's so crazy because if you would have asked me that while I was going through it, I would have said this is the worst thing I've ever gone through in my entire life. But I've wrestled for 11 years, and I've been in the business for 11 years and surrounded by it at all times. And having to sit at home and take that time off, I think I'm more grateful for it now than I was during it. But very, very hard. Very hard. Not only because of the pain, but the mental stuff. This is my life. And to have it taken away in one jump, while we had a baby on the way, was definitely hard. Shout out to my lovely girlfriend, by the way.
This is your longest layoff, correct?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Like I was saying earlier to you, I think the longest I've ever taken off has been a month, maybe. Even during the pandemic, it was training here and there and stuff. So, and from even the gym, I could do upper body stuff and that, but I'm a huge runner. I'm a huge fan of cardio. I'm a huge fan of flips, and I couldn't do any of it. So, rough.
Has this injury changed your wrestling style?
Yeah. As much as I would love to look at you like a smart ass kid and be like, I'm fine, I'm going to do every single thing I did before just fine. I think going back into things, I do have to reevaluate my style. I have to grow up, so to speak, which is fitting because I think throughout this injury, through the last few years, becoming a dad, I love to say it, becoming a dad, those type of things, you grow as a person. So I think it's all evolution, so I think it'll benefit me more ways than one.
I can sense that excitement when you talk about being a new dad.
Yeah.
Not that it's not obvious.
Yeah.
It's radiating off of you.
Yeah.
What has that experience been like of recovering from an injury, trying to get back into physical condition, mental condition as well, as you mentioned? 2 months ago, I believe, we're 2 days away from 2 months old, your daughter?
Yeah, 2 days away, and she'll be 2 months. Man, it's still surreal to me that I have a little buddy at home, and but it's been, man, I'm speechless. I'm stuttering because it's like, I don't know, you start to look at everything different. Like my injury went from something that like I didn't know if I was going to mentally recover from to you see this little slobbering monster chilling on the couch, and it just changes everything, man. It's all worth it. Like I say, it's crazy. I'm so lucky, man.
Was that a motivator to get back to full strength?
Oh, yeah. That because I'll be 100% honest, man. Like there was times I sat my girlfriend down and I was like, yo, like this sucks. Like I think I'm done. And it sucks to even say it now, to even think that I was in that mindset, because for 11 years, there's never been anybody to break me. There's, beat downs, the stress of wrestling, the ups, the downs, the financial side, all of it. Nothing has ever made me say I'm going to quit. And this injury was so brutal, just the recovery and everything. Like there was times I looked in the mirror and went, maybe graphic design's the thing, or maybe there's something else I can do, and I really questioned myself. And then seeing the baby, a buddy of mine bought her a little AEW women's title, and it sits up like on her shelf. And I remember seeing the belt and seeing her and thinking like, if I lived this entire cool life before this kid was here and I don't get to show her, like what I'm really about and those type of things, I'll be devastated in a whole nother way. So for me, it was, it was a wake-up call, big wake-up call. And I mean, I've been training harder than I ever have, been working out harder than I ever have. So, yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready.
You had talked about the momentum off camera. You had talked about the momentum that you were experiencing right before this injury. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about what you were doing, who were you facing immediately before the injury, and do you feel that this injury has set you back in any way?
Yeah, I had some serious momentum, for years I've had this kind of slow, subtle growth, and then I was just getting to the point where independent companies were putting the trust in me to be their main event guy, to put their championships on me, to give me microphones, which for those who don't know, those things are hard to get to. We don't all get to that level of a promotion or whatever. So it was this momentum, and I was just rocking and rolling. As I said, I got signed. Then I had a sweet match with Jonathan Grisham right before I got hurt, where I think I finally had some people paying attention to what can we do with him and where can we put him and those type of things. And I think it put a little more eyes on me. Unfortunately, it was right before I got hurt. But yeah, that momentum is very hard to pick up. And once you have it, something like this is, like I said to you before, I know there's people that would have been done right now, like screw this. But for me, it's that one, the motivation of my daughter, but also the motivation of the momentum I had. Like, I want every belt I had back. You know what I mean? Like, I want every spot I had back. I want every opponent I had back. Like, I want to make sure I'm, the level I was before. So, yeah.
I noticed on Facebook the wording of that post when you said, "I'm choosing to make my return in Windsor."
Yes.
Were there other options of where you could make your return, and why ultimately choose BCW 30?
So what was super cool for me is I stayed pretty silent about everything online. One, because it was hard to look at wrestling every day, Two, because I wanted to come back strong. If, I was going to come back, I wanted it to be a big deal. And as I got closer to, he's probably feeling better, I started to get the messages of, hey, when's the comeback? Can you do it here? 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 What if we do this here? And those type of things. And then that's right when we started talking BCW 30. And I've had to, since getting hurt, I've had to sit and watch the Impact shows in Windsor. I've had to watch the return after the pandemic. I wasn't able to be part of any of those things. And that was devastating to me because this is my city. This city is what I based my character off. This city made me who I am. This place made me who I am. Those shows were very special. So to sit in the back and have to watch and, not be part of your family, so to speak, really, was brutal. So there's only one place I want to feel that adrenaline rush the first time I come back. There's only one place I want to hear my music. There's only one place I want to hear my name chanted. It's got to be Windsor. And I mean, you'll see me go full ground running right after that. But everything else was totally on hold until this show.
When exactly did you get cleared?
It would have been, I want to say, almost 3.5, maybe 4 months ago. They kind of said, my doctor is a huge fan of Impact, which is cool. And he just straight up said, hey, I watch your videos. You cannot go do that right away. Okay. So he's like, you need to slowly start to test it, ease back in and stuff. So what I did was I came here by myself quite a bit. Just came to the school, ran the ropes, rolled around, jumped from the bottom rope to the second, then went to the top. It was scary up there the first time. And slowly kind of got it back to feeling comfortable. And then I've came and trained with the boys and stuff a few times because I feel a little more confident in it now. So, it was just like a slow progression for sure.
What has it been like training with your peers again?
Man, I'm always one of those people when I go through something, I kind of back up and I deal with it on my own. So when I got hurt, I stayed pretty silent into myself. It was a rough time in my life, So to come back around, it's almost like I didn't see all my buddies for a while. Like I went on vacation or something. So it's been exciting to see all my friends again. And I'm the type, like I couldn't come and hang out at shows and stuff. I still watch wrestling and I still had to have it part of my life, video game wise and everything. Right. But it's like seeing all your family again. I took like a road trip just to hang out with some friends the other day, just on the road. And even just driving with my windows down, I was like, oh, my life is going to be back. Like I'm going to know what this feels like again to drive to a wrestling show. So, yeah.
What can we expect when you return on October 7th?
You guys know me, man. I'm probably going to cry. Honestly, you will see an emotional side of me because, like I said, the first time in my entire life, and I'm not even exaggerating, I looked in the mirror and went, is this it? And it's not it. And I'm strong and I'm here and I'm lucky. And, I got a baby girl to impress. So that's, everybody can expect me. The same thing I've always done, the same thing we'll always do. We'll all tear it down together and, be there.
Has this time off given you more perspective on who you are as a performer, as a wrestler, your character? I know the Prince City chant, yes. And who that obviously means a lot to you. Have you been able to really hone in on, okay, who is Aiden Prince based on this time off?
Yes, like you've been a fan of my stuff. Like if you watch me before, I was going through like this weird little character phase where like, who am I? Like I'm wearing my denim jacket and I dyed my hair blonde and I was trying something different. I was trying nicknames and trying all these different things, trying to figure out who I was. And the last thing I thought was going to figure out who I was breaking my leg and sitting at home. But it was because it made me, I don't know if this will make sense, but it made me snap out of Aiden Prince, the character, for a second and go back to who I really am as a person. And when you take those two things and you mesh them, it makes you a more matured version of that character. Like I like to compare it to Eric Young. Because Eric Young has had his design wacky side. And then there was the Eric Young that came out with Scott next to him, Team Canada, you know what I mean? And he was just jolly old Eric Young again, and you loved him like he was your cool uncle or something, you know what I mean? It was like he's able to take his real self, because meeting him in real life, that is him. He's the coolest dude ever. So it's like when you mesh those two things together, it makes an evolved version. And I think that's what happened to me. I think even talking to you now, I think you'll see a lot more of the real side of me, the family guy side of me, the one who does enjoy being at the shows, hanging out with people after the shows, and just being a wrestler, And I think that's where it's really changed me, and I think that'll show character-wise, because the way I look at it now is I don't have a character. Windsor's my character, and the only reason Windsor's my character is because I love this place, So it's just. I think you'll just see a more real side of me, if that makes sense.
What's your advice to an independent wrestler, a budding young wrestler who goes through their own trials, their own tribulations? Perhaps they suffer an injury, a setback. You've been through it all. What's your advice to somebody in that position?
A long time ago when I was going through stuff and I was stressed out and everything, I used to use the hashtag #JustKeepWrestling all the time. Because there'd be days where you're frustrated and you don't want to go to wrestling training, or you're tired, you don't want to go to the gym, or you don't want to whatever. And I always put it down to just keep wrestling. There's going to be days you hate this place. There's going to be days you hate wrestling. There's going to be days you question your entire life. But if you just keep wrestling, you just keep showing up, it all starts to work itself out. I always looked at it like, your first day of school. You don't know anybody, you're nervous, you're scared. Once you learn the basics of this, and then you're able to open up your mind and you're not as nervous in this room and you're doing your own thing and you become who you are, then it's the greatest thing in the entire world. And we all deal with things on the outside of the ring. You know what I mean? We all deal with things. And I remember, I'm going to shout out Bhupinder for this one, because Bhupinder's been one of my good brothers for a while. And I remember I called him one time and I was a little down and beat up. And I remember, and he's like, bro, you need to go to the gym, you need to go to wrestling school, and then you can go home and cry. And I remember that sticking with me. Wow. It stuck with me because I was like, he's right. We can all have our ups and our downs and those type of things, but if you go do your work and you go whatever, then you can go home and pout it out. Wow. But yeah, it's something that stuck with me, and yeah. God bless Bhupinder for that one.